Over the past 4 years, I had the Amex Gold and the Platinum cards in my wallet, and at first I was really excited about them, but now I'm just thinking about canceling. But before I do that, I want to jump into how the cards stack up against each other, what the current benefits are, and most importantly, cancel out these cards if they're no longer worth it. And to make this video as easy to follow as possible, I'll break these down into annual fees, bonuses, benefits, and make sure I compare everything side by side so you could really get a clear picture on whether these cards are still worth it, even with the increased annual fee on the gold card. And please, whatever you do, do not be shy. Drop some comments below. I need to make sure that there's actually people behind this lens and I'm not just talking to the camera for nothing. Alright, so let's start with the annual fees, and the gold card has a new increased annual fee of $325. For the platinum, the annual fee is $695, which is very expensive, so there is a big difference between the gold and the platinum card annual fee. So the big question remains, is it worth the extra $370? And more importantly, is it worth it for you? So with the gold card, you're looking at a mid-range fee, but you're getting a lot of value in return, especially if you're someone who spends a lot on dining and groceries. The platinum, on the other hand, it's more of like a premium travel card. So the extra cost can be justified as long as you take advantage of all the travel perks and the benefits that we're going to go over throughout the video. But more on that in just a bit. So next up, let's talk about the reward structure, which is the big reason we get into these credit cards in the first place, and then I'll give you a real-world scenario. So the Amex Gold is all about everyday spending. 4 times points at restaurants and US supermarkets. US supermarkets capped at 25,000 and restaurants capped at 50,000, plus 3x points on flights booked directly with airlines, and then 1x points on all other spend. On the other hand, Amex Platinum giving you 5x points on flights booked directly with airlines and flights and hotels booked in the Amex portal. Everything else you get 1x point per dollar, so if you're a frequent traveler, you could really rack up some big points. But now let's break down a scenario using the average family's real-world spend to see how much points you could really earn on both credit cards in certain and various categories. But before I do that, smash that subscribe button if you want to be smarter with your money. And based on the latest valuation from the Points Guy, who's highly respected in the travel and credit card industry, the estimated value of American Express membership rewards points is approximately 1 cent per point. This valuation could really vary depending on how you redeem those points, whether it be through gift cards, cash back, or simply in the Amex travel portal or using transfer partners to travel for free, which we'll touch on more on later in the video. But 1 cent per point is generally a good estimate. So if the average family is dining out for $3,000, groceries $5,000, flights $2,000, hotels $1,500, and miscellaneous spending $4,000, we could assume on the gold card, if you're spending $3,000 on dining out, you could take 4x per points. You're getting 12,000 points on dining out. For groceries, if you're spending $5,000 and you're getting those 4x points on the gold card, that equivalent to 20,000 points. Third category, flights booked directly with airlines or an Amex travel. If you spend $2,000, you get 3x points. You get 6,000 points on the gold card. Hotels, if you're spending $1,500 on the gold card, we can assume 1x per point, which comes out to 1,500 American Express points. And then miscellaneous spending, because we all need some miscellaneous spending, $4,000, 1x per point is totaling 4,000 points. And keep in mind, this is just on the gold card. Total points with the gold card comes out to 43,500 points when we add all of that up. Again, this is based on the average family spend in all of those categories. Your situation might be more, your situation might be less, but hopefully this was a decent rule of thumb. And now for the platinum card. We're going to assume for the platinum card the same annual spend in the same categories to see how this breaks down for the average family to see if this card is really worth it. So for dining out $3,000 on the platinum card, 1x per point comes out to 3,000 points. Groceries, spending $5,000, 1x points is only 5,000 points. Flights booked directly with airlines or through Amex Travel, $2,000, we're getting 5x points on this category if you remember from before, which comes out to 10,000 points. Hotels, spending $1,500 if we prepay that through the Amex travel portal, 5x points, which comes out to 7,500 points. And for miscellaneous spending, 4,000, 1x point, similar to the gold card, you're getting 4,000 points. So effectively, your points earned with the platinum card comes out to 29,500 points. I'll put on the screen a little comparison table so this all makes sense, because I do understand it's a lot of information at once, which brings me to my next thing that I do appreciate you watching this video. And if you found this helpful so far, consider subscribing. Even leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts on these two cards. So total points per card, the Amex Gold, 43,500, and for the Platinum, 29,500. Keep in mind, this is a real world scenario for the average family spend, not including all of the other categories that we're about to talk about. And if you're not familiar on how to best redeem all of these points, then make sure to keep watching because we're going to go over this at the end. So for families who spend more on dining and groceries, the Amex Gold offers a significant advantage with higher points earnings in this category. On the other hand, if a family prefers to travel frequently and spends more on flights and hotels, then the Amex Platinum is the obvious choice, earning higher rates on those expenses. So by now you know the annual fees and you know how much each card is worth in each category for the average family's lifestyle, but we can't stop there because the next few things I go over are those airport lounge access, which one of the card doesn't get, plus all of the travel perks and the benefits on both cards. And I will admit, this is where the Platinum card starts to pull ahead a little bit, and which has kind of motivated me to get this card in the first place about 4 years ago. So travel perks and credits for the Amex Platinum, you get up to 200 in airline fee credits each calendar year, 200 in Uber Cash, 200 in hotel credits, only when booking through fine hotels and resorts or the hotel collection, plus a $240 digital entertainment credit. This doesn't mention the $189 clear credit, which you could use to access the Global Lounge collection, which includes Centurion lounges, Priority Pass lounges, and much more, and even skip the line at the airport, which again was one of the biggest reasons I got this card, because it is sort of a flex when you go to the airport lounges, or you're able to just skip the line altogether at the airport. On the other hand, for the Gold card, you get up to 120 in dining credits each year, broken down into $10 per month when you use your card at Grubhub, Seamless, Cheesecake Factory, and much more. Additionally, there is a $100 airline fee credit, which can be useful, but it's not as comprehensive as the Platinum's travel perks. Now keep in mind the Gold card does have some new perks and some new benefits, like the 120 dining credit, the $84 Dunkin' Donuts credit, which is broken down into monthly, 120 Uber Cash, plus a $100 Resi credit broken down into $50 semi-annually when you dine at a participating Resi restaurant. So by now you know the annual fees and what you could earn on certain categories using each card, but we can't stop there because the next few categories we go over, I'm going to talk about those fancy airport lounges, which one of them doesn't even get. The lounge access is a big deal for frequent travelers, and it was for me, and I don't consider myself a frequent traveler, but I travel a few times per year, and this is where the Platinum card really shines. The Platinum card gives you access to the Global Lounge collection, which includes the Centurion lounges that are pretty famous, Delta Sky Clubs only when you're flying Delta, and Priority Pass lounges. You can also get Marriott Bonvoy Gold Elite and Hilton Honors Gold status, which can add up to big savings and big comfort on your trips. Personally, I've pretty much been upgraded every time that I stay with Hilton, which is why I highly recommend enrolling in those elite statuses. You could do that by using your portal or just going to the website, and you get a ton of free benefits like free room upgrades, free credits to use at the hotel or resort themselves. I usually use it for free coffee or just free dinner or maybe even a drink if I'm feeling in the mood to drink that weekend, but I typically don't like to. So even then, the credits are still useful on just everyday things. And this is where the Gold card, it really lacks a lot of benefits because they don't have any lounge access. You do get some travel benefits like baggage insurance and rental car insurance, which we'll talk about in a second, but not as extensive as what the Platinum card offers, which brings up a great point. Rental insurance alone, most people don't even realize that your credit card has it, especially these two credit cards, and what it's actually worth. So rental car insurance could be a significant benefit when traveling, particularly for like a family of 4 who might be renting vehicles on vacation or road trips. I have experience in the insurance industry, so let me break it down for you in like a pretty simple way, hopefully. So the Amex Platinum offers primary rental car coverage. What this means is if you're in an accident with the rental vehicle and it's damaged or it's stolen, ultimately the credit card's insurance comes into play first before hitting your personal car insurance. This is huge. This means no deductible. This means no rate increases on your personal insurance. And this means just less of a headache and a lot of peace of mind. On the other hand, the Amex Gold also offers collision damage waiver insurance. However, it's secondary to your personal insurance. What this means is your personal insurance comes into play first, and sometimes in a rental car, depending on your state or where you're traveling to, like internationally, it might not cover it altogether. Even if your personal insurance covers it, the credit card is going to be secondary. You're still going to have a deductible, and you still may see a rate increase on your personal insurance, which is why this credit card insurance is so powerful, especially if you're on vacation, and sometimes we could be a little careless with the rental car, or someone could just be careless next to us in a parking lot. So it really does come in handy. And you know I like to give you real world scenarios, although I don't have a family of 4. It is pretty much the average family, so we're going to use it for this example. Let's say they decide to rent an SUV with a rental cost of $600 for the week. If the SUV is damaged, they'll have out-of-pocket expenses, they're going to have their deductible, and possibly much more. If they didn't have car insurance or rental car insurance. If they have the Platinum card, there's no deductible. The Platinum card's insurance will take care of it as long as they submit a claim through American Express, and ultimately the family doesn't have any cost. Now, the Amex Gold card has a secondary coverage. So the family first would have to file a claim with their insurance company, and then ultimately the Gold card would take care of anything in excess. They still might have a potential deductible, which again, this is a powerful benefit, but the Platinum card has the Gold card beat in this category. So in summary, they both offer a powerful rental car coverage. However, the Platinum card is a little bit more beneficial. God forbid you're ever in an accident. But we can't stop there, because this next part, I'm going to show you what these points are worth when you redeem them so you could finally travel for free. So both cards offer membership rewards points, which are highly flexible, but let's talk about how you can use these points and how much value you could ultimately get from them. If you're someone who likes to redeem points for everyday expenses or through Amex Travel Portal, the Gold card is pretty solid. However, the real value comes when you transfer these points to partners like Air Canada, Aeroplane, British Airways Executive, or Delta Sky Miles, which is my favorite because I don't often get enough time to go outside the country, but ultimately traveling in America, Delta is my favorite. The Amex Platinum offers the same transfer options, but it's tailored more towards those learning to redeem for luxury travel experiences. When used the right way, those 5x points on flights could go a very long way. And as always, let's look at some real world scenarios. So let's use the example from before, and let's say you have 43,500 points in the Amex portal, and we value them at approximately 1 cent per point. Effectively, the cash value is $435. However, if you transfer them to a travel partner when there's a current bonus going on, you can get a lot more value. For example, let's say on the Gold's card you have 43,500 points. Instead of taking the face value at $435, you're going to now transfer to Delta Sky Miles on a 50% bonus. So you're effectively getting 1.5x points on every dollar spent on your Amex portal points. When redeeming for this, you can easily get a first class flight for around 70,000 points, especially when you're flying in the States and you're not looking to go internationally. Or you can take those same points and you could transfer them to Aeroplane miles on for 30 to 40,000 miles, which could get you an economy ticket to Europe, which is still pretty good. Amex Platinum, similar scenario, but we only earn 29,500 points for the average family, if you remember from the original example, and we can approximately value these points a little bit higher when going for premium cabin on a flight or hotel, so we could call it 1.5 to 2 cents per point, which comes out to technically $4.42.50 if we multiply the 29,500 by the 1.5 cents per point. Similar to the Gold, we could use transfer partners and we could get some pretty nice flights for the bonus that we received. What you don't want to do is use these points for things like cash back or on gift cards, because ultimately there usually isn't any transfer bonuses, which really is how you get leverage and how you make the most of these points. But up until this time, we've only spoke about the good things. Why don't we look at some of the bad things for these cards? So for the Gold card, the $325 might be hard to justify if you're not spending a lot of money on dining and groceries, especially if you're not taking advantage of the new Dunkin' Donuts credit, which is $7 per month, and the $120 in dining credits per year. Because at the end of the day, these credits really are the ones that are putting you over those annual fees, not to mention if you're lucky enough to get a sign-up bonus, but we can only factor that into the first year you have the card, and not after 4 years of having it, just like me. In the same way, the Platinum card isn't worth it if you're not spending heavily on frequent travel. However, they do offer more benefits, so if you're able to use even just half of them, it might make the card worth it. Nevertheless, I am thinking about canceling the Platinum card or even downgrading it to the green card, because I don't want two Gold cards at the end of the day, but I also don't want to just close credit cards where ultimately I'm going to just hurt my credit score. I don't know. Why don't you guys help me out? Let me know what I should do. Drop a comment below. And at the end of the day, you should always be doing this sort of calculation for your situation. And if you found this video helpful, you might be interested in watching this video right here, where I rank every single American Express card to see which one is really worth it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.